We got ourselves, I feel like I just named it, but either way. Oh, I like the Mogobliv. Oh, that's very fiery. Oh, I like that. We got ourselves Chrysler, we got ourselves a Bliv with Uranus in the back. We got ourselves Deja and Athaman versus team 2 with Ornach. Still sticking to Frost. No, wait, actually gonna go Arcane. Okay, that's gonna be a bit different. M6 as a arms warrior with Lanira as a assassination rogue. Jen on a Worgen Destro Warlock. It looks like it's gonna be dope. First up, another Destruction Warlock versus Uranus. This is gonna tear him up. Literally, but it looks like Uranus is gonna try to take a dump on him first. It's gonna be dope. Oh, I switched to the wrong person completely. Dope dropping down the big inferno. Look at you get Casebolt up and running. Uranus cannot get the interrupt for it. Maybe he missed out the interrupt, getting juked on. The DK taking a big slammering. Dope taking lots of damage. So that's still a big army of the undead. Ready to go. Fear onto the DK. Does break out pretty quickly. Casebolt 1 into Casebolt 2. I think it's done and done. Uranus, unless you can get some kind of healing. Looks like there was no healing. And I cannot for the life of me switch to the right person at the right time. I swear to God, what is wrong with me? Obliv? What is dope? Dope is 5. Okay, I can do that. I can do this. I can do this. Only taking 2 days off stream. And I forget how to do this. Dope does go for a port, maybe a little bit early. He hasn't even switched the pet. He didn't even go for a succubus pet against the DK. So it looked like he was feeling pretty confident. It's going to be immediate trigger for Obliv trying to land a polymorph onto Dope. He does land it. It's going to be that, not a Dark Glare. Observer? Big combustion coming down for Obliv, going to be a reflect for Dope, but looks like the combustion is still going to go through. Obliv stealing a bit of that reflect for a little bit of time, but enough to take it off and just continue pummeling with combustion damage. Massive damage out of Obliv, kind of out of nowhere. With Lanira going to be up next. I don't think we've seen a Fire Mage go for big combustion in such a long while. I think there's a lot of people that were worried about, oh, Fire Mages, oh, they, no more Master Blaster, no more Master Stacking. Is Fire Mage even going to be good? I think Fire Mages are going to be still pretty good, boys. Big breath into Lanira with a Palmer for after. Lanira actually kind of expecting for the fire breath to be the full duration and kind of just stood there for a second. Looks like actually it's going to be able to break out of that and shut his Shadow Melt out of there. He did shrink it for it. So he did shrink it for that. Ring of Frost to fall. It looks like he's going to be able to freeze Lanira. And if anything, Obliv at least is going to maybe be able to get a Meteor down. Cloak of Shadows coming out for the Rogue immediately. Getting a Kindred Shot into Obliv. Big dress. Obliv does blink out of it. Not even shrinking out of it. And a blind into Obliv while Vendetta is rolling for Lanira. That's a lot of cooldowns you're committing there. And unless you can get a sap after this, it's going to be a little rough. Does land the sap. Might want to come in as long as Vendetta's up. That is the most unfortunate thing the Assassination Rogues sometimes do. Is Vendetta somebody, and then they blind him right after. That is super unfortunate. I know sometimes you have to do it, but man, is it giga unfortunate in my opinion. Like, damn. That's extra rough. Obliv looking to push in, getting hit with a sap. He could breath into the room. Everybody on the team 2 probably should give him space in case he does. Catches the Rogue. What kind of dot do you have on the Rogue still? Or did the Rogue not... Was the Rogue not able to catch a restore for some reason? Still has Master burning on him. Looking to actually get a Kindred Shot onto Obliv. Does Obliv go for a blink? He doesn't choose to blink this. He's actually letting the damage up, but Lanira's just taking damage to the Flame Shield. 1 Crucible, 2nd Crucible. Is that enough damage? I think it might be enough. Lanira might be out of this. Meteor on one side, cheat death. And the dot's taking him out. The shield, dude. Just see the shield damage. Oh my god. That is so huge. That's a huge amount of damage. It's just like, it's like a giga version of a, it's like a giga lightning shield. But like a better. Like 12 lightning shields at once. Obliv dropping down the big Greater Pyro into M6. Getting the images available with a Nova immediately onto M6. Could go for a bit of a Blaze Storm. He decides not to. Actually reflected something from Obliv, but the images are absorbing a lot of the damage, or at least reducing the damage pretty heavily. M6 does go in for a Blaze Storm, trying to catch up to Obliv. Does land a Fear on him after, breaking that Fear immediately. Dressed to follow. Obliv does take quite a hefty amount of damage. Going to be a breath onto M6, dropping Meteor on one side. M6 is going to be powering himself up. Big Avatar available. Obliv does break the banner pretty quickly. And with Obliv having blinks instead of shimmers, it's going to be hard to get away from M6. Still the Safeguard Trinket. And it has actually enough Fire Blast damage in order to break through whatever health he had left. With Jen going to be up next as a Warlock versus Obliv getting hit in the polymorph while the pet is getting hit with a freezing. The Ring of Frost into big combustion coming down for Obliv. Dropping down the Phoenix's Reflect available for Jen as he's going to get a Chaos Bolt off into Obliv. A little bit of an unfortunate blink. Cataclysm on the other side. Looks like Obliv is just running into everything. So far, he had a really, really good streak of things. And now he's going to get hit by an Infernal. Is that going to be an Ice Block play here? Potentially. But Obliv is looking pretty good so far. Feeling good. Goes for a quick invis. Trying to blink away. That's going to give him a bit of a shield to deal with some of the dot damage. Getting some dots back onto Jen as well. We are about to hit the 5-minute mark, boys. I'm gonna hit the dampening very, very soon. Jen still has the Infernal out. That thing shouldn't be out for much longer, though. And Jen so far hasn't been able to make the most damage with that Infernal. Obliv goes in for Ring of Frost. Jen looking to get the hell away from Obliv for now. Since there's only so much you can do. Mortal Coil is gonna connect. And a big Casbolt gonna slap into Obliv's health bar. Reflect available. Obliv, is he able to seal the Reflect? Might be an Ice Block here. As barely enough health left. Obliv has a dot burning on him. Does get a shield last second. Still holding on to Cauterize. So as long as he has Cauterize, he has enough health to deal with this. Does Obliv play Rune of Power, by the way? Is that a Rune of Power with Combustion? Is that what he's playing? Is that real? Jen getting hit with a Meteor on one side. Actually takes the full damage of it. A couple Fire Blasts and a Pyro. Jen does go for a heal. Unless Jen can get some sort of CC or damage onto Obliv, it's going to be really bad. Interrupted onto Casbolt. Obliv has a massive advantage here. Jen looking to get the hell away. Waiting for the Mortal Coil. Doesn't even survive it. And Don think he survives it. As Obliv still holds on to the Cauterize against Ornash this time. Playing that Arcane Mage. Okay, now it's going to be 1-1. 8% dampener here, boys. 6 minutes into this duel, and Obliv is actually catching up with quite a bit of health. Stealing the shield from Ornash. Hits him with a breath. That's going to be a poly. Had a greater Pyroblast in the opener. Does Obliv go for any more damage? Big combustion. Does play Rune Power, so he's playing for the big one-shots. And Ornash is going to pop Ice Block and just sit there. I guess it makes sense. Obliv trying to drop down the Meteor. Gonna hit Ornash. I think that actually hit while he's standing on Rune of Power. That's actually a really ballsy move as a Fire Mage to play the Rune of Power in these duels. Normally you want the mobility, normally you value mobility. But I guess it makes sense. You might as well go for the big one-shot if possible. Ornash trying to pop invis. It's going to be Nova for Obliv. It's going to be Ornash blinking around trying to get the touch of the magic with the Polymorph right after Obliv is just completely countering Ornash. And a great G-Pie with the Ring of Frost right after is going to get him frozen. He doesn't have to take a second G-Bite to follow since that has a cooldown. But it's going to be a Fireball with a couple Fire Blasts. It's going to be Ornash catching up on a lot of heals. So far, these two mages are a little bit of a standstill. Ornash still holding on to his cooldowns. Hasn't really popped off just yet. And Obliv waiting for about 1 more minute on that combustion. But any damage Obliv does, this has a lot more sustain to it. That's what I noticed. Ornash so far hasn't really went in for the big hits. I think he's trying to get an interrupt out of Obliv before he goes in for the big missile play. So he basically has to keep baiting out. But Obliv always will land this proper opener with a breath into Poly, into Meteor, with a greater Pyro, getting a bunch of damage on Ornash. Huge Crucible. It looks like Ornash did have himself a little bit of that spell rewind time rolling. Rewinded at a little bit different time. Still had massive dots after. Again, Obliv poking it, get this Fire Blast. Ornash just has to try to deal with this damage. He has to find a way to just deal with that until he can get a kick out of Obliv. And so far, he hasn't been able to go for any kind of damage his own. And that's going to be Obliv trying to see if he can finish off the fight. Ornash taking a lot of damage. Arcane Power available. Trying to get those instant casts in there. Does he have any heals? It looks like Obliv takes him out at the very end. Very well done. Gotta give you credit. Look at that 5-0. I think we gotta get Athos back in here, dude. I think we gotta get Athos team back in. I think we have to get Athos team back into the next duel. We have to. I'm gonna have to push someone back, dude. I'm gonna have to push someone back. Anthrax, I know you want to duel. I know you want to duel. I gotta get Athos because his team hasn't really good to play.